Hey everybody, and thanks for watching Woodcrest Bonsai. Today I'm going to work on some Portulacaria Jade that have been allowed to grow with not much care. And today I'm going to try to rehabilitate them, get them back into shape. I think they all have the potential to be really nice bonsai, but right now they don't look like nice bonsai. So our first victim here has a super thick trunk, very interesting roots, but then it also has this incredibly long sacrifice branch that has contributed to the trunk thickness, but it's another case where here's the apex and the sacrifice branch is almost twice as tall. In fact, it's still out of the camera. We got to go like that to get to the top. So most trees, once this part of the tree is taller than here, will begin to push energy into this part. You notice how this is all upright, new growth, pushing here, and here there's almost no new growth down at the base. I still think this tree can make a really nice bonsai. But the first thing to do is to get rid of that sacrifice branch. Now the sacrifice branch also has another little auxiliary piece right here. So I'm going to keep that. I'm not going to take it all the way to the trunk. I'm going to cut right here. Because this may, see, I really think that is going to be part of the design. Once that is out of the way, and you may think, well, you just left a big nub there, you big knob. This is true, but Portulacaria Jade, when they heal back to the next bud, and so this little piece will probably just turn papery and fall off. So now that we've got the sacrifice branch out of the way, we obviously have growth out here at the end of the first main limb that is just way too long, and all of these little pieces of growth need to be cut back. We then have this incredibly funky. We have this incredibly funky branch here that's, before I get to that one, let's take this one off. You see this guy here coming from the back, which also is the whole thing is this branch here, which really doesn't even need to be there at all. So we're going to take that off. And unfortunately, as you can see here, the back branch died. So our back branch is now non-existent. But I still have hope for this tree that it can become a nice tree. I also want to take this off because it's shooting against the grain, not necessarily going this way, but it's shooting up into the apex, so we don't need that. And then let's do another little trimming. And this guy here really needs some wire, but I'm not prepared to do that because my editing software, if I try to splice things together or cut things out or stop the camera and then start again, I get an echo in the audio. So I'm trying to do all of my videos in one take, which, since I had never planned on doing wire, I don't have my wire. So that means about a minute's worth of walking over to my shed to get the wire, so blah 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 blah. Excuses. Anyway, we'll just stick him like that. Then we've got a couple parallel branches in here. I think this one here can go. And then Let's see what kind of roots we've got. Pretty nice roots. I think I'll wait till the spring to root prune it. I am going to give it some fertilizer. So already it just looks so much better. And I have to admit that I have a lot of these trees that I just sort of just don't get to. And I'm never going to admit I have too many trees. Never! Anyway, that's number one. Here's number two. This is another guy that has always confused me, because if we look here, you'll see that it fell over. It was more upright, and then it totally fell over. And I never was really quite sure what to do with it. However, sometimes when you're growing bonsai, you're styling bonsai, there are certain things that you know what not to do with it. And so once again, we have sacrifice branches that are coming all from the base here and then shooting way up, way straight, and that is also, quote unquote, the apex of the tree. Goes all the way up to there. So those all come off, because none of that is going to help with the design. At least on the other one, when I cut the sacrifice branch off, the little piece that I left really made a big difference, because it was the counteracting the first main branch. So let's get all of this off. Once again, I'm not really concerned about leaving a little bit of a nub, because as it heals, that stuff will fall away. So now what have we got? Where are we going with this thing? Where is the front of this thing? That might make an interesting front. Bring the camera down just a little tiny bit more. So, as is the case with trees that have grown way out, you look at some of these branches here. Look at this one. And it's shooting way down, but who knows, it might. And here's another one that's shooting against the grain. I'm just gonna give it a massive haircut. It certainly has some interest. It's got some very interesting branching. And now I just took off every single leaf. So will it recover? Let's hope so. It's the middle of September, but where I live in Zone 10 in the U.S., the middle of September is very hot and still very humid. We're getting highs still in the 90s. So I don't think that doing this at this time of year is going to be that detrimental to this tree. So now where do we go with this? Probably want to straighten that guy out, although maybe not entirely. So is this the front? Or is this the front? Or is this the front? Or maybe that's... No, that's not the front. I'm kind of leaning towards here. But this would make a very adequate front too. It could almost be like a semi-cascade, which would be a little odd for a jade tree. Oh, that piece is dead. I was going to remove it anyway. So, once again, even though I still haven't quite figured out what the front is, at least it looks a whole lot better than when I first put it in front of the camera. Number 3. Are we seeing a trend here? Okay. Cut off all of this. And we have some very interesting movement over here, and then this one is almost entirely straight. So could we just take that guy off and still have a tree? Probably. We've got some stuff going against the grain. You may think, these trees look weak, and you'd be right. Because they've just sort of been, I hate to use the word neglected. What would the spin doctors say? They haven't been worked as thoroughly as they could have. Well, that doesn't look so bad. See, I really think they're nice trees that could really end up having some very nice character. I just needed to get to them. Part of the reason I started this channel was to get to the trees that I know I've neglected. So here we are, middle of September. I'm finally showing you a few. Boing. So that's about it, since my camera only has 15 minutes of memory. So, 3 Portulacaria Jade, basically just not worked anywhere near the way they should have, but I think they still have potential. I'm going to give them a little bit of fertilizer, and then as the new growth begins to emerge, I'm not going to let it ever elongate again. And of course, if you subscribe and you hit the notification bell, you'll be able to watch these guys as they now begin to develop and get cared for the way they should. And probably be a couple months until they get an update video, but if you subscribe, you can be notified of that. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment if you'd like. And that's about it for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.